great to hear from TJ, of course, and I should mention, Chance, you got one right today.
I'm so happy, bro. That was nerve-wracking. If I'd gone 0-3, I'd have been pissed, man. Because then, like, TKOG, I'm confident in TK. Yes, I think they have the edge, but not overwhelmingly confident, not for being 0-4 in the predictions, but it doesn't matter. So thank you, Rise, for
saving your day.
making it interesting, man.
That would have been horrible if you were 0-4.
Yeah, would have been tragic. We've not had an 0-anything day in terms of predictions, so I guess
I'm sure Rich has to have one.
No one has this far. All right. Still plenty of time. Anyway, moving on. We'll talk a little bit about that series, dissect it for you. Another fantastic Game 5 thriller of a series. Of course, it all started on Valkyrie. We love seeing this new map in rotation.
I do not understand Methods at all. Methods, the first time he plays it, he takes out a bar and just destroys with it. And then the next day, he switches to the sub. And then in the interview, he's like, yeah, I don't know, like the bar wasn't working out. Things weren't going great.
Yeah, he seemed confused.
And like, it didn't make any sense. But then this game, he goes back to the bar. So, like, the gameplay is fine. Like, everything he does in game is perfectly fine. I just, like, want to understand. But obviously, see, 17-11 had a very nice start. Rise, they're, I think, 3-0 on this map now. So they look like the best Valkyrie team in the game of all 4 teams we've seen play it so far.
And how scary is that now, Joe, when you look at playing against Rise Nation, you look at the vetoes, and you realize, hey, hold on, wait a minute, that new map, do we have to potentially ban that? You leave so many other maps open.
Well, I just think in general, Rise is a scary team to go up against because they are willing to play every single hard point. Like, there's not one where you, all right, they're weak at this one. Yeah, I mean, that is scary because you can't take away sort of their map. What is their one map? I think the one game mode you can take some game types away is probably Search and Destroy. Like, we've talked about it. Like, well, London Dosh is one of them. You know, St. Marie's one of them. But yeah, for Rise Nation, I mean, all of them playing extremely well. Gunless had such a big game. Again, this is a guy who is in that third submachine gun role, that second AR. He plays such a big role, has a great game overall, and you know,
fantastic game. Look at that, 1.59. That's incredible.
Yeah, Rise Nation, they're undefeated so far on Valkyrie. I imagine this won't be the last time we see this map tonight. I have a feeling Optic and TK will play it, so I'm excited to watch that one as well.
Completely agree with you. Of course, Rise kicked things off with a very nice win, led charge by Gunless, of course, who we've been speaking about more and more over the past couple of days. He really has been kind of stepping up into the limelight. It's been very much TJ, very much Methods, who's been the big talk of this Rise squad. But, you know, credit where credit is due. Gunless really having a fantastic week 3 here in Division A.
It just went Echo Fox's way, but Gunless, like he's making 1v. It's like, how often do you see that for Rise where they're actually making the big plays and they still lose? But I mean, I don't know, maybe if he had gotten streaks in this spot, it would have been different. But Echo Fox getting the necessary kills.
Well, we always talk about it, right? Like, TJ's 2-5 at this point. We always talk about the maps that he loves to play because he knows how to work the map. He knows all the different timings. Well, timing's just like that, where he's able to, you know, just find openings in the enemy team's setup. And Forest is the one that, well, it's very difficult to do. So Rise, they do get some rounds on the board, but this is really when Echo Fox were able to sort of turn around. That's a huge 1v1 for Assault, and well, that, you know, helps them win the game.
It definitely does, and of course a little bit of a reaction there comes in from Looney. Echo Fox go on to win the 3 final rounds at a fantastic map there from Assault. Of course, 11-5 drops to 2.2. Really big performance to him, and it keeps Echo Fox alive in this series. And it's kind of at this point, I think everyone was looking at each other and say, yep, I think it's probably going to go the distance, probably going to go to Game 5. We knew it was going to be a close game, but Rise, obviously, they come out on top of overall, but we'll talk a little bit now about the CTF, the Game 3. Any big surprises to you, Chance, in this Game 3?
Surprises? Maybe not. Normally, Force, you see some pretty close games, and normally the team that makes the big play gets the win. But something kind of interesting about, like, the meta of the map, a lot of teams like to go for full control. They go to a spot like Methods is, have one guy watch mid, have a guy over in cabin, but then that locks the spawn over in the back. And each team actually had an opportunity at doing something that Red Reserve is very good in, of you just give up cabin control. So when you push up the bottom side, you can actually force the spawn out. You don't force them in the back, and then you can get the, quote, sneak flag pull in. So both teams could have done it. Maybe that's something for teams to make the adjustment for.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the listening during that play. That's just something I wanted to talk about was TJ was basically like, let me get those streaks. Like, let me come back, let me shoot you so I can pick up the flag and score it. There was an Echo Fox player that actually got behind them. If TJ doesn't go back to do that, that's a one-on-one. That flag's probably returned, and that sort of turns into a capture. So a bit of a lucky moment there for Rise. And then, as TJ said in that post-game interview, you know, he made a game-changing play. He picks up 2 in the bunker when he overextends. pulls it towards Bell, which we saw yesterday Red Reserve was able to do, and well, they score the game-winning cap. But it's just a weird little timing like that changes the entire game for Rise.
Definitely does. And all smiles for Rise at the end of Game 3, but the smiles were quickly wiped off their face as we went over towards Game 4, another hard point where Echo Fox come out and just managed to clutch up and obviously take us to that Game 5. And Echo Fox, again, I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse every time we talk about them. It's like we know how much slaying potential this team has, Chance. It's just they're struggling to find the consistency. Is that what it is?
It's got to be part of it, right? I think even some of the maps, they just don't play too well. I don't think they handle rotations in hardpoint very well, but this map, it was obviously different. And more importantly for them, it seems counterintuitive to say, but there's a handful of like sub players that really stand out on Gibraltar. And for this game, it was Saints. Like normally you expect the ARs to go on point, and granted, sometimes Saints did have an AR in his hands, but he had a monster performance. He earned streaks like right off the rip, didn't have success with them, and he's like, well, maybe I should just get another full set of streaks to have round 2. And that's what he does. Like, if you have one guy going off on a map like Gibraltar, where even when you give up one set of spawns, and then he can just use his streaks to get him back, it's incredibly helpful. So, monster performance, 107-5. Really have to say more than that.
Yeah, I mean, for this Echo Fox roster, you talk about Saints, and really I look at like Dallas, right? Because Echo Fox was that one team when they came into pools, they were willing to play Gibraltar. There was so many Gibraltar vetoes, but that's when they had Gunless. Those two dominant submachine gun players would just roam the map. They'd play their lanes extremely well. I'm happy to see Echo Fox continue to play it. I feel like it's the one map that definitely makes sense for their roster when you have two assault rifle players like Aqua and Assault. So, but that was a big win, right? Like usually between two top teams, it's actually a lot closer. It comes down to maybe a spawn here or there or a set of streaks. That was full control for Echo Fox.
Most definitely was, and that, of course, sends us to a Game 5 search and destroy. We head over to London Docks, and obviously, we kind of mentioned it when the veto process went through. All right, well, London Docks has got through. Rise should be able to comfortably take it. But to be fair, it wasn't very comfortable, Chance.
There were some very big plays coming out from Echo Fox. You see Aqua, this was just his round, essentially. I know later we're probably going to see the clip of Assault clutching up once again. That's 2 clutches at least, if not more, for Assault that we've seen in Search. So definitely some impressive moments. But yeah, as you said, Rise, this is just their map. Like, they go up 5-3. Yes, Assault has some streaks, but it always just comes down to that round 11 in the end, and we know Rise is clutch.
Obviously, you talk about that round 11. It got a little scary there, of course, for both of our two teams, but ultimately it is Rise that come out on top. Of course, they already secured that playoff spot, so congratulations to them for that, but this win only puts more pressure on everyone behind them to try and fight for that #1 spot. But I do want to take a look at our CWL play of the game. Of course, it was that round 11 in the Search and Destroy, Joe, and it got very, very scary.
I was wondering why you wouldn't let me talk about round 11.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you,
our
Joe.
scuff play of the game. I mean, Looney, he just goes for it. He rushes that B street. He gets the bomb down. Maybe they know there's still a fighter pilot in play. So really, that limits the fighter pilot. There's a ton of cover from when you're able to watch B. So you're going to see this pretty ineffective use, but it's still a 4v4 situation. The first guy that's really going to watch that flank is, you know, it's going to be a big fight there. And then you have TJ in that side rim. So as Looney picks that up, TJ pushes up, tries to catch his player, but Looney and TJ do a great job. Gunless wins a 1-on-1, and yeah, that changes the game. Looney just goes for it. Like, he just goes straight to B and plants that bomb, no fear at all. That's a great play call.
And not only getting the bomb planned off, but Looney just getting that first blood is massive, because if Aqua wins that, now your B cuts open. So you got TJ that has to deal with 2 people, and even if he does get 1 kill, B control is now completely in the hands of Echo Fox. And then even if you're underground, if you're in Cole, then you have to jump in bad gunfights just in case they hop the bomb. So literally that round to me is just in the hands of Looney. Like, it's tough to get credit sometimes because you can just get instantly traded out after the first blood, but absolutely massive. And yes, his teammates had to clutch up after that, but a very important kill for him to get.
Yeah, very, very important indeed. Congratulations to Rise. Of course, they take the series 3-2.